All right, recording. There we go. All right. What's up, guys? We're back already with another video as the Mets hired Billy Eppler as their GM. And personally, off the rip, I I just I don't understand at all. So Brian Sabian wasn't a option apparently, but we go to a guy that worked with the Los Angeles Angels and is the guy that's responsible for not building a team around Mike Trout. Makes no sense to me. The whole David Stearns connection thing is just stupid to me, just because of the fact that we said the same thing about, the two other guys that lost their job recently as GMs about Theo Epstein, and Theo Epstein had zero interest in coming here. So it's not even a guarantee that David Stearns is going to come here. So it makes no sense to me that people are saying that this is a good hire just because of the connection there. I'd rather David Stearns just come here next offseason and put his own people in place. And if you did really want to hire Eppler, if Stearns even comes here, which it's not a guarantee, because like I said, Theo Epstein didn't end up coming here, then, fine, I guess, if Stearns does come here. But, go ahead and prove me wrong. I'm keeping everything at a low just because I'd rather be surprised in the end. If I'm wrong, I'd rather be happy and be really surprised, because I have no reason to have confidence, but I just don't understand the logic in hiring a guy just because you want David Stearns to be the president of baseball ops, because again, it's not a guarantee that he's going to come here, because then if he doesn't come here, this hire looks even worse, because now you have a guy that is responsible for this. I mean, this whole situation has been ridiculous. You have Sandy Alderson, who's the president of baseball operations, hiring a president of baseball operations. Why the fuck are we having a guy replace him? Why are we having a guy replace himself? It makes no sense to me. The Mets do everything just in a stupid way. Just nothing makes sense with this team. Nothing at all makes sense. But I have some articles here. We're going to do a deep dive into his trade history to see, where certain players might come from that come in, where players might go out. So we'll have to, we'll look at the trade history to see, what type of moves he might make. Nothing could be really positive considering the fact that, I'm sorry if you hear my dogs barking in the background, but I don't see any positives really coming up from this at all, because of the fact that, again, this guy single-handedly is responsible for poorly building around Mike Trout. The only positive really I know off the rip of this guy is that he got Shohei Ohtani over to Anaheim. So props to him. And apparently there's just some strong connection with him and international players. So I guess that's one aspect if the Mets were to go the route of Suzuki this offseason. So that's one positive, I guess, I could take off the rip. The other positive that people are pointing out is that they didn't hire a guy that was an assistant GM. They hired a guy that has been in the role, that has been there, done that. So it's not like a new guy coming in. But to be honest with you, it really is similar to if they just hired a new guy, because this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I mean, how do you have Mike Trout on your team and then just poorly build around? And apparently he didn't even want Anthony Rendon. But this guy is the same guy who, instead of signing Garrett Cole or Zach Wheeler in the offseason of 2019, he goes out and acquires Julio Teheran, Jose Quintana, and I think Alex Cobb was another one. And they all combined for what Garrett Cole and everyone would have costed. And, as much as it makes sense, maybe, hey, because the Angels need a lot of starting pitching, you go out and divide that money. But to get guys like that who have poor just pitching history, it just makes no sense. And the argument or the narrative that he worked on a small payroll in Anaheim, I hate to break it to you, but the Angels have been one of the top payroll teams in baseball with him being employed. So I don't really see where people are coming from with that at all. They've been above 150,000 pretty much every season that he's been there, except for the 2015 season and then 2020 apparently, which I'm really surprised. But although I don't even know if, but this was I don't even know the difference between this and this. But oh, okay, so this is like the 40-man payroll. So yeah, and then this is the 26-man payroll. I don't know how it works, but nevertheless, if you look at this side, it's above 180,000, 170,000 every year that he's been there. And then this side, I don't know the difference. Like I said, it's pretty much been high the entire time. So, yeah, I don't see the argument that he had a small payroll to work with, because in Anaheim, he did have a pretty high payroll actually to work with. But let's do a dive into his trade history. Here we'll read what this says. It's not always fair to judge baseball operations leader for free agent signs. In many cases, these contracts. Yeah. So this is just saying not to judge contracts, which I don't get that because of some of the contracts that this guy signed. It makes no sense. But yeah, let's just read the trade. So we got him acquiring. We're just gonna really look at the guys that he brought in. Andrelton Simmons. I mean, not a lot really went out the Braves there in that trade, so I guess that's a pretty solid trade off the rip. You know, Escobar, I don't know what he did really with the Angels. Not like they gave up a lot. So Brendan Ryan, I don't know what he did for them. I mean, none of these trades like really stand out. I don't really remember him making a trade that stands out. I think Dylan Bundy he was there for, so I guess Bundy would be really a solid acquisition if you do want to, you know, pick one off the rip. I mean, like, I'm just trying to see names. Cameron Maybin, they didn't give up really a lot, so I guess, although I don't know how Victor Alcantara has done for Detroit, so I have no clue. I don't even know if he's still there, but the name does sound familiar, so maybe he has been all right there. Dustin Upton is a pretty solid trade acquisition, but the contract was just awful that he ended up signing him to. Trade out CJ Crone, which, I mean, he acquired Ian Kinsler a bit too late. He acquired him. Pablo Sandoval is the guy that he acquired in 2018. Tommy Estella, that's a pretty good, for a player to be named later, or cash, whatever it was, that's a pretty solid trade right there. Max Stassi's a really great trade. I mean, yeah, like he doesn't have, yeah, and then Dylan Bundy, that was a good trade acquisition. But it's not like he's really stood out with any trades. Like he hasn't made any headline worthy trades throughout his tenure. So, I mean, yeah, his resume there is not, you can't really judge much there. And then we have this article that I didn't even read. So we'll see. We got the good, the bad, and ugly from Eppler's tenure as the Angels GM. So let's dive into this. The good, Trout and Ohtani. I don't really know if you could say Trout was good. I guess signing him to that extension, sure. But he was already in the organization, so it's not like you could do that. Ohtani, though, like I mentioned before, yeah, 100%. 100%. His waiver claim success apparently was good. Acquiring Mike Mayers, Blake Parker, Hanzo Robles, Ramirez, both two Ramirez's, Brian Goodwin. I mean, sure. Sure, I guess that's helpful because this Mets team is known to go injury prone. So being able to hit on waiver claims would be good. Trade acquisitions, Simmons, Maldonado. I totally miss him acquiring Maldonado. Bundy, Listella, Pena. But yeah, not to Maldonado. Okay, so Patrick Sandoval was in that Maldonado trade. when he traded him out. That's not a bad acquisition there. I don't know why some of the trades weren't even there. Unless I just read too quick past it. Um, Draft classes. I mean, this is another thing I'm pretty concerned about with the Angels is their development has not been good. I don't know how much of a role he has to play with that in terms of if he put some of these guys in place, but Joe Adell has not looked like the guy he was hyped up to be so far. Griffin Canning, I don't know much about. Brandon Marsh has not looked really solid in the MLB. I don't know really a lot about the rest of these guys. But drafting wise, could be a bit of a concern, especially because now we have 2 first-round picks and then Noah's. We got from the Noah Syndergaard signing for the Angels. Of course, he went to the Angels as we're talking about a guy that was with the Angels. So yeah, I mean, what was I even saying? Oh yeah, so yeah, we have a lot of draft picks this year, so you better not fuck it up. The bad, yeah, starting pitching. So starting pitching obviously is bad, especially for a team right now like the Mets who do need starting pitching because as of right now we lost Noah. It doesn't look like Stroman's coming back. So if he handles the starting pitching how he did with the Angels, we're in for a long road. We're in for a very long road here. Yeah, so the starting pitching was pretty. Yeah, he handled it terribly. Garrett Richards, Andrew Heaney, Matt Schumacher, Tyler Skaggs, and Ohtani. Yeah, all of them got hurt. Jeez. Yeah, and then failed to land top free agent starters, which is a huge problem because right now we obviously need that. Now, because like I said, Noah walked. It didn't look like he was going to, but now that he did, yeah, that's kind of a issue that he might not go out and get Gosman or make an effort to get a Max Scherzer, some of these top guys. Yeah, he missed out on Dallas Keuchel. I wouldn't say Happ is a top free agent, but sure. And then Wheeler and Cole are really the two that stand out there. And instead, he went other routes and got Harvey, Cahill, and Tehran. Not a good look. The closer dilemma, too. That's another problem. I mean, yeah. You looked at Robles, Cody Allen, Andrew Bailey, Jim Johnson. Not ideal. Yeah, the Dustin Upton situation is bad. You know, Escobar, Zach Cozart's another really bad one. The ugly, who's calling the shots. So apparently it wasn't Epler's fault that the farm system was depleted, which, to be fair, it didn't look like he traded any top guys from the trade history there. But even then, it's like he didn't make any headline moves, so that's kind of why. But yeah, and then the Rendon situation, he got thrown out of the room apparently with the Rendon situation, and he didn't want to sign Anthony Rendon, which I guess makes sense because of the fact that the Angels need starting pitching more, but he didn't even go out and get starting pitching, so it's like for them getting Anthony Rendon, it makes sense. So yeah, the Zach Cozart situation was awful. Missing Howie Kendrick. And what's this about Kirby Yates? Because yeah, he was with the Yankees too, so I guess it's about Kirby Yates. Roster struggled. I didn't even know this. I didn't even know that Kirby Yates got claimed by the Angels at one point, and then yeah, he went to the Padres and started doing well. Yates hasn't been healthy lately, but yeah. So overall, I mean, after reading both of these and reading all this, there's nothing like to be wowed about with Eppler as the GM. It's not like he's done anything except for Ohtani, really, that you go, wow, this guy is worth getting. But then again, like the Angels have just not made the playoffs in his entire tenure. So it makes no sense to me why we went after a guy that has never built a team to go to the playoffs just because we think it's going to help us in the David Stern sweepstakes, which is just ridiculous to me personally. But whatever. At least we got someone. This entire situation was just annoying and drama filled. So I'm glad it's over. And hopefully I'm wrong and hopefully he gets the job done. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video too. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you guys are new, turn notifications on, and I'll see you guys in the next one.